The 10,000 Buddhas Monastery is a mid-20th century Buddhist temple located in Sha Tin, Hong Kong at 220 Pai Tau Village. Its designation as a monastery is actually a misnomer because there is no monks residing at the complex, which is managed solely by laypersons. Both the main temple building and the pagoda are listed as Grade 3 historic buildings by the Government of Hong Kong. The monastery was founded in 1951 by the Venerable Jyutping, who moved to Hong Kong from mainland China almost 2 decades before in 1933 to proselytize the teachings of Buddhism. The site previously housed a temple of Kunyam where a nun was killed during World War II. After the land was purchased by the owner of a local tobacco company, he consequently donated it to Jyutping for the purpose of establishing a Buddhist college. This, however, did not come to fruition and the monastery was built in it instead. Its foundation took place 2 years after the communist victory and takeover of the mainland. Jyutping and his followers carried out the building by hand and personally transported supplies from the base of the hill. This endeavor was funded through donations from the lay public. The construction of the monastery was eventually completed in 1957, although the installation of Buddhist statues throughout the monastery complex continued into the new millennium. Jyutping died in 1965, 8 years after the monastery first opened. An apocryphal story written by his followers claimed that his body was found to be incorruptible 8 months after his death, a result of the seated lotus position he was buried in. However, newspapers maintain that he was in fact embalmed. His intact body is exhibited in the main hall of the monastery. After Jyutping's death, his nephews assumed the role of overseeing the maintenance of the building. It was at this time that the monastery began to decline in popularity. Due to their historic significance, the main temple and the pagoda of the 10,000 Buddhas Monastery are listed as Grade 3 historic buildings. Hence, they are deemed by the Antiquities Advisory Board as having some merit, and that preserving the 2 buildings in some manner would be preferable, although different methods could be considered if their preservation is not feasible. Their graded status was approved of on August 31, 2010. The complex covers over 8 hectares and is divided over 2 floors. The upper level consists of 4 halls dedicated to Kunyam and other Buddhist and Taoist deities that contain various Buddha statues, while the lower floor features another hall. A pagoda that is 9 stories high, a tower and 2 pavilions. In total, there are close to 13,000 Buddha statues at the monastery. This is in spite of the temple's 10,000 title. While 12-sided has been cited at the low estimation, writers in the Lonely Planet guidebook surmise that there are some 12,800 statues in the monastery grounds. Several of these originate from the Tang dynasty. The monastery has been featured in films and television series over the years. In the 1995 American action series Vanishing Son, it was the location of a martial arts fight scene between the protagonist, played by Russell Wang, and the sword-wielding adversary of his. Furthermore, the temple was the setting of the opening scene in the 2002 local crime thriller Infernal Affairs. The triad boss in the film Hom Sam, portrayed by Eric Zhang, who is incidentally a devout Buddhist, prays in front of a statue of Buddha at the temple. His young followers, who are also gathered there, then toast their loyalty to him prior to dispersing with instructions from Han to infiltrate the Hong Kong police force as his moles. Today, the 10,000 Buddhas Monastery is open for tourists and free of charge. So if you are planning to visit a historic place here in Hong Kong, then don't miss this place.